Um, it's been quite a while since I've done a stream like this. Been trying to stream for a while now. Been having difficulties with my connection, but wanted to do this stream tonight. Wanted to go through a couple of things. There's a couple of things I want to talk about. Um, the main thing I wanted to talk about, as you see in the title of the live, I mean, obviously this was released a couple of weeks ago, but I still want to talk about it. Why? Um, Obviously Japanese manga is doing better than American comics. I do want to talk about that, but I do want to talk about a couple things that happened this week, mainly with in the gaming sphere. Um, Two things in the gaming sphere, and it just goes to show you that the current state of Western gaming is really bad. Um, so yeah, I really want to talk about those. Hope you guys are having a good night out there. Thanks for stopping by and chilling with me tonight. But yeah, I want to talk about that. I want to go through a recent video that Monte Sensei released. It was a really good video. Um, but um, but yeah, I do want to take a look at this because this is absolutely this has to be one of the funniest things I ever seen. Like this is truly hilarious, and I really, really want to talk about this. So, there's a game that was in the making for a while. It's called Relooted. Ever since it was revealed, literally everyone was just like, "Who asked for this game?" And again, this is what I'm talking about when you focus too much on representation and other shit that literally gamers do not care about. You well, the player numbers speak for themselves. So let's take a look at this. There's a couple of videos I want to show you about this.
Guys, we've got amazing news today. This is a glorious day for true gamers out there, as today is the official launch day of the highly anticipated, much acclaimed, very much awaited game. The hit game Relooted. In Relooted, you play as the heroic Africans, stealing from the evil white people.
Class, don't rush.
Stop, intruder!
I'm a visitor.
Oh, really? Please, enjoy the museum.
Got it.
It's time to get out of way.
Now, real talk, a lot of people were waiting for this game to release purely to laugh at it, to see how badly it would flop, and we will be getting to that in just a moment. But what really makes this amusing, in my opinion, is how gaming journalists tried to shill for this game. On the Steam page for Relooted, they show...
Like I'm just so confused. And the crazy thing is, majority of the staff for this game, if I'm not mistaken, it's mostly white people. That's why I'm just so confused by this game. Like, who was asking for this? Like, who literally was asking for this? Like, there is hundreds of African mythology where you can make games about, but you make a game about this. Mind you, majority of the development team is white people. Mind you, just keep that. I want you guys to keep that in mind.
Show off reviews from IGN, for example, where they say, I came away from Relooted feeling like it's one of the freshest, most interesting games at Summer Games Fest, and I cannot wait to play the full title. Activist outlet The Gamer would also get posted there, saying, Relooted is the only heist game that's ever made me feel like a real master thief. Then there's this headline I found separately that says, Relooted truly represents what it means to have diversity in the games industry. I can't wait for this game. Bro, every playable character in this game is black. There is literally zero diversity in this game. It's always hilarious to me how when corpos and activists say diverse and diversity, they really just mean black. That's it. Perfect.
Exactly. I'll give you a perfect example of a game that's popular right now and it has diversity. Marvel. Well, he's showing it right now. Marvel Rivals. Marvel Rivals has diversity. Characters from different cultures. Women, men, white people, black people, both genders. Asian, a disabled person because Daredevil's blind. And again, and they're not trying to hit you over the head with this shit. They just want you to have fun. Marvel Rivals is a perfect example of how to do diversity right, without pandering it and without hitting people over the head with it. it's a perfect example of how to do a game. But mind you, it's not the diversity of the game that people play it. I mean, well, obviously, yes and no in terms of like why people play the game. It's not, they don't speak about diversity. They just speak about the characters and how the characters feel, how they play. You know, the mechanics of the game. Those are what matters. And again, just because your entire cast is one race demographic, it does not mean it's diverse. All black does not mean diverse. All Asian doesn't mean diverse. And people need to understand that.
Example of how they like to use manipulative language. But don't worry, guys, the launch is going great for Relooted. We've literally got dozens of them.
Like, look at the guys, look at the numbers. Look at the numbers. And Hero Hey, he made an updated video about the numbers right now. I think it's like less than that. An all-time peak of 57 players. All-time peak. I'm not sure if you have to pay for this game or if this is free to play. Because if this is free to play, then those numbers are sad. But my God, who the fuck asked for this game? Like, I need to understand who said that, yo, this is a good idea for a game, we should make this. It's absolutely insane to me. And this is why I keep saying that we really, really need to take back gaming. Like, we really need to take back gaming.
The moderate audience showing up for this one. A current all-time peak player count of 57. That's the update for Relooted. Launch day for Relooted going just as everyone expected. Let me know what you think in the comments. Hope you enjoyed the coverage, and I'll see you in the next one.
Yeah, it's just like... Oh, sorry. Wrong video. It's just insane to me that... It's just insane to me that people are actually thinking that this is what people want in gaming. And literally, like I said, this is a game that nobody asked for. So I'm going to be playing a couple of videos of people talking about this game. And it's just insane to me that that this actually launched. Like, before this even launched, nobody was even interested in the game.
A number of weeks back, I made a video about a video game called South of Midnight, where in it, we talked about how apparently if a video game that was coming out didn't achieve some level of success that was gratifying to one individual, apparently that means we all despise black women or black women in gaming. The most disrespected group in American history. And I said then, much like I'm going to say now, that take is absolutely terrible. Why? Because if a game is actually good, it could stand the test of time and actually be a success without the peer pressure of someone saying, hey, if you don't buy this, if you don't review this, if this is not something that gets talked about more, obviously the reason is maybe not because people aren't interested, not because it's not their cup of tea, not because they're going to start crying that it's woke. It's because you hate black women, which is a little bit.
And it was the same sentiment. Like, I remember when they were saying this a lot for like most of the Disney Plus Marvel shows, and when the Marvels came out, like a lot of people were saying, if you don't go watch this, like they were especially aiming at towards men. It's like, if you don't go watch the Marvels, you're a misogynist, you're a bigot. I'm just like, in my head, I'm just like, why are you talking to your core audience like that? Like, when you talk to people like that, it doesn't give them like the incentive to actually go out of their way and watch this. And people need to understand, like they feel like these people think that the audience is obligated, like they are required to do this, like it's a homework assignment or something, like it's required of them to do this, and it's insane to me. Like, it's absolutely insane. I originally never played South of Midnight. I heard most people said it was a whatever game. I think I only know like one person, one content creator who said it was good, like they enjoyed it. Can't remember who. I want to say it was Aspen Gold. Like, I think he said that he enjoyed the game. I'm not sure, but I remember one content creator saying that they enjoyed it in terms of people that I follow. But yeah, they think if you don't play these games, they think that it goes against, like you're going against the the demographic. Like, you don't support the demographic. You don't support these people, these types of people, and it's just like, that's fucking stupid. That's a stupid way of thinking.
bit drastic. And for anyone who wants to know, I was interested in this game before anybody was saying things about this. I liked the premise, I liked the gameplay, I liked what I was seeing animation-wise, and I said I was gonna buy it, and I bought it, and I'm gonna give it the old Leon 7 out of 10. Why? It's very simple, and I feel like I'm going to say this a few more times in this video. When it comes to entertainment, I am not interested in outside opinions. I'm interested in my own eyes seeing the thing and saying to myself, I either like this enough to want to buy it or not like it enough to not care about it from this point on.
And I'll give him credit for that. I'll give him credit for that. Like, because people, like I said, people are obligated to their own opinions. They're obligated to their own opinions, and I agree with that. But when you're in the industry, especially in the video game industry, like, mind you, in the video game industry is the most profitable source of entertainment in the past couple of years. When you're in this industry, you have to give the audience what they want. If your audience is saying that they don't like this game, you should not be going against them. Because at the end of the day, they help you make money. So, and that's what's been happening in Western gaming. Every time when they've been developing these games, the audience does not like it. They come at the audience in a way where they think they know better than the customers, than the audience. And you know how the customer responds? They don't buy your game. And when they don't buy a game, you know what happens next? Layoffs and possible shutdown of the studio.
Just that simple, just that easy, and somehow somebody's gonna get mad about what I just said. Why am I talking about gaming in this video, Leon? Well, it's very simple. Over this past week, there were a lot of games that were announced. And out of all the games that were announced, and all the future of handheld technology coming about from Xbox, there is one game that has been talked about to death over these past few days. And it's a game called Relooted. A crew, a job, a plan. Toss those ingredients together and you've got yourself a classic heist, but with a few twists. Your crew members are everyday citizens with pretty normal careers from different countries in Africa. The job is to liberate African artifacts from Western museums, and the plan, well, that's up to you to create. So it's essentially a heist type game where you're planning out how to take items from a museum. Sounds like a cool premise, and based off of the video footage, it actually is something, to me, that's interesting. So what's the problem? Well, they announced this game and they announced it on all these different platforms on social media, and you would think the reaction could be something like, oh, this seems pretty interesting, or yeah, it looks kind of clunky and I don't like the models, or for some reason, Epic Games advertises an anti-racist game that supposedly promotes African culture. It's a game about theft, robbery, and looting called Relooted. Again, who needs racists with allies like these? This is legitimately insulting the culture they claim to promote. So, an African-focused video game where you play as black people who loot stuff from white people? LOL. Black people start making their own video games? It's a theft simulator. How did this get past the idea phase? A game about black people stealing things? Really? Where Reclaim is actually stealing. These seems like an overly simplified and ideologically motivated game with some racial undertones. Isn't this reinforcing stereotypes? A game about black people stealing? Seriously, how about a game where you build a functioning African country? That is called Farming Simulator, or for some people who are that creative in their minds, Minecraft. And what I find so interesting about this is, if we're complaining about a game where we're stealing things, I shudder to think what any of you watching this video might think of me for the near decade that I've spent being a national, or at least in the certain areas, citywide terrorist in Los Santos playing Grand Theft Auto 5 or Grand Theft Auto Online. What would you think of me playing a game like Payday, or me playing a game like Saints Row, where this premise is not only expanded upon, but graciously praised because the game overall is a sandbox where you could just be a criminal pulling a gun out your ass and shooting NPCs until you are bored to where you're gonna do it the next day.
First, we're getting used for white Black Panther.
So I think the problem is with this game is because feel like the problem with it too is that because Grand Theft Auto, the thing about that is that it's supposed to be like what's the word? It's supposed to be a damn, forget the word. Because GTA, it presents itself for what it is. You know, you're not like this righteous person. Like you're obviously this guy who can do criminal things. Just jack cars, rob banks, rob stores, kill people, go to strip clubs, do hookers, run people over, drive any car you want. Like it's made for what it is. And again, like I think this was like, well, no, this has been Black protagonist GTA characters in the past, but the game is made for what it is. This, however, the problem with this game is one was how it was presented and how it was marketed, and two, and the problem with this too is that again, for the premise of this game, why aren't there no black developers there for a game like this? I'm pretty sure there should be black developers there. It should all just be a majority white development group. Like that's just like I don't know. Maybe I could be like the only one thinking like that, but if you're trying to make a game like that, shouldn't there be like black developers? And I felt the same way with South of Midnight. Like South of Midnight was made by a majority white team. Like when during the Game Awards, when they got their award, it was the creators were two white women. Where are the black people?
Now we have a video game about black Africans stealing. What is going on in this industry, bro? Are people trolling us? This is by a South African studio. What's going on? Why would you make such a game? Oh my god. So the premise of the game is there's a gang of people. They've been tasked with going to different museums and stealing real-life African items that were taken during colonialism. Granted, I understand the Killmonger mindset. Yeah, that belongs to us. We need to take that stuff back. But you don't do it like that. You don't say, steal it. I get it. It's a video game, but you don't... I can't explain what I'm trying to say. It's like you're encouraging people, this is how you're meant to take it back. No, bro. Many items from museums have been sent back to Africa. You know that, right? They're doing it legally. You don't need to encourage stuff like this, man. Okay? You could have done... of all the type of video games you could have done. I get it, you're an indie studio. It's your first thing. But instead of doing something like this...
Wait, this is their first game? This is an indie studio and this is their first game? No. No. I'm sorry.
Relooted. Theft. You could have made something that's akin to, I don't know, Uncharted, Tomb Raider. Before...
That would have... See... What he's saying right there, that would have been more interesting. Imagine if this was like, if this was like, they're going into like, like African like lost cities or like, fallen monuments and they're trying to like recover artifacts. That would have been more cool. I feel like a lot of people will be more on board for something like that, in my opinion. I feel like a lot of people will be more on board. Like what he said right there makes so much sense. The Uncharted Tomb Raider thing, that would have been way cooler, in my opinion. That would have been way cooler if they'd done something like that.
Focusing on African cultures, African mythology, African magic systems. Huh? Why do that? Now, but you make a game about stealing. Come on, man. Come on. Do you know what the grifters are going to do to you? The people that always cry, oh, woke, DEI, woke, blah, 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 blah. They're going to demolish you. They've already started. I've already seen some few YouTube videos. And it's gonna continue. No matter even if you make a game that's totally different, they're gonna.
I'm gonna be honest. Homie has a point. He has a point. Like again, like bro, like just the concept of this game is just so. I'm sorry, but it's dumb. Like it's really dumb.
Continue until your company is down the mud. You gotta be careful what you do, man. Especially if you're new in this industry. You wanna make something that's, I don't know. that's unique, that's for Africa, to try and develop Africa's gaming industry. I would love that. Yeah, me personally, I would love that. There's many ideas that many people have, many ideas I have, and I would love to see them adapted. But no, you don't start with this now. What is this? That's so disappointing, man. That's so disappointing. They're gonna get destroyed.
So I'm watching the Summer Gaming trailer, and there's a trailer that comes up called Relooted, and the idea is that you steal artifacts from someone that doesn't deserve it and put it in your own collection, which is cool. However, the controversy with this is that it takes place in Africa, a futuristic version, and the main character is black, right? People are like, the usual suspects, or like even people are saying, oh, you shouldn't have picked us like this. I'm like, bro, it's the heist genre. That's the coolest genre ever, bro. Like, if white people do it, they've been doing it since Robin Hood, but if they do it, they get called archaeologists or treasure hunters. You know, Indiana Jones, Uncharted, Tomb Raider, Thief, even Sly Cooper. He's an animal. Asian people do it, add their little twist. It's Persona 5. So I mean, why not just let everyone have it? Even with movies, bro. Like, let more black people in there. Cause if you have a gang of black people, yeah, try to steal something just to stick up. But if a bunch of white people do it, it's the Ocean's 11 franchise.
You want a game where it's black people stealing things? Sure, if the story's good, if the gameplay's good, if the creative environment behind creating your own heist to steal the things is fun and interactive, I'm all for it. I feel like there's a lot of tension in the air, and I'll be honest, at a current point in time where there's looting going on, yeah, it's probably ill-timed to announce a game like this, and you could probably cop somebody on that. But overall, it's a video game where you're either gonna have fun or you're not gonna have fun. And anyone bloviating in these grand fashions about, oh, well, see what's going on here, see how this is a bad thing, see how this is a bad thing, you're missing the potential beauty of a video game and how good it could be. Or you're completely right in how a game could have a bunch of flaws in it, because I'm seeing some things that's a little bit clunky and dicey that would make me have cause to pause as somebody who knows how to code. But I would think, because this game doesn't even have a release date, over time they'll fine-tune all the things and it will be a game that maybe with another update or another trailer that shows me in depth how I could interact with all these heists, maybe it's something that I could put my money towards. Because as it stands, I'm thinking about it, but I'm gonna need to see a little bit more from them in terms of how the world works and what's the story and how the characters operate, because the premise to me is pretty cool, but I need to see how.
Oh, okay. So all right. So this, yeah, I'm looking at the timestamp. So this was like when it was first revealed. But yeah, that's why I gave him. Yeah, that's why he was saying what he was saying. So he's probably gonna make an updated video. But yeah, what this guy said, he was absolutely right, man. Like, if the premise was more so like a Tomb Raider / Uncharted type of premise, I feel like it would have been way cooler because you could dive into more African mythology. Because I'm just gonna be honest, I feel like we need more of that. Because like I said, Hollywood has a problem where they always like to race swap characters to black characters, especially based off like certain mythologies that make no fucking sense. Like, for example, fucking Greek, Scandinavian mythology, Norse mythology. Like, why are you putting black people into literally white mythology, which makes no fucking sense to me? Like, we have a full fucking continent of mythology that you guys could explore. It fails to, like, I just don't understand why Hollywood refuses to explore this continent full of mythology. Like, there's so much mythology that you could explore in Africa, but they just choose not to do it because it's easier for them to just race swap something and call it for what it is, and it's just stupid to me. But yeah, what he said right here is absolutely, I totally agree with him, man. Totally agree with this guy. Let's look at this next video. Where is it? I think here, yeah, he made another one.
So the other day I talked about Relooted.
There you go.
This game launched. It launched. Can you even call it a launch when it had like a peak player count of 57? That's more of like an instant fail. But yeah,
So it looks like, when did you release this? This was, okay, so this was today. So that's what he's looking at right now. 36 players. Shit. They really thought they had a hit. Like, I understand this is an indie studio. This is their first game. But seriously, guys. Oh, man. Oh, man.
Relooted launched, got a max player count of 57, now it's 36 as of recording. And I saw some tweets from Gothic Therapy where they showcase a few tweets, or excuse me, a few Blue Sky posts from the CEO of Relooted, this Ben Myers guy. And in the screenshots of the posts, he is complaining about gamers and Steam and wanting to censor the Steam forums, but he's scared if he does, he'll get criticism for it, but he really wants to. And I went over to the guy's Blue Sky account and I couldn't find those posts actually. It looks like he deleted them. So I'll say, like, apparently he said this stuff because, you know, it's not there anymore, but the screenshots are still out there. And let me show you where this discussion really started. And it gets especially interesting too because we have a little cameo from a certain Chris Kindred, a name you might be familiar with if you followed the Sweet Baby Inc. news that was going around a while back. And so it all begins here with this TEG account on Blue Sky that says, "This is the Steam forum for Relooted, and it's all grave dancing rightoid culture war incels. Do you think Valve is ever going to crack down on this stuff? They allow this nonsense to fester on their platform, providing hate mongers a soapbox to spew vile racist BS. Deeply frustrating. Oh, it's so frustrating. I'm going to this forum and it's upsetting me, and I'm going there anyways and screenshotting it to complain on my Blue Sky account."
So this is the problem I've been saying that's happening right now with entertainment, especially like entertainment, especially. A lot of people see criticism as hate. Like a lot of these people try to over exaggerate this, like this hate, when really it's just like professional criticism or feedback. And we're living in a world now where people are literally like their egos are to a point where they do not want to hear any criticism. They believe what they're doing is right, what they're doing is correct. And because of that, we're not seeing change in the industry, especially in Hollywood. People are not trying to course correct. People are not trying to take a step back and take accountability and try to try again in terms of what they're doing. And I feel like that's a big problem that's happening right now in the industry because a lot of people are in their they have it in their mind and set in their mind that they believe that what they're creating, like you're free to create whatever you want. Like at the end of the day, I believe in creative freedom. You're free to create whatever you want. But the problem is when you create something and the audience and customer base that you're trying to create to doesn't support what you're doing or is not interested in, you know, purchasing or putting money down for it, you can't be mad at them for that. You have to take a step back and look at yourself and like review what you've done and say, did I do everything correct? Is there some things that I made a mistake on? What do I need to review in order to be a better creative so that I can succeed again? And I feel like we used to do that back in the day, but I feel like now, especially like towards the late 2010s to 2020s, like we just stopped doing that. And I feel like a lot of people just don't want to do that anymore. And I feel like it's gonna get worse. Well, it actually is worse. Like we're in the worst of it right now. You know, like look at the state of Hollywood. Look at the state of Western gaming. Like the East is dominating everything in both gaming and in terms of Hollywood. They're dominating. You know, that's why Hollywood is trying to expand in the anime market because the Japanese know what they're doing, and it's just amazing to me. Like literally back in the day, we arguably were the best in those industries in both Hollywood and in gaming. We were arguably the best. Like we made household names to this day that people love, and now we're just running everything to the ground because a lot of people refuse to drop their ego and actually listen to professional criticism. And I feel like that's a huge problem. And I feel like now, like especially like when it comes to fans and customers, like you really need to listen to them. Not listening to a niche, not listening to like a niche small group of your audience base. You need to listen to what the majority wants. And I feel like that's another difference that people need to take, because there is a difference between listening to a small portion of your audience and listening to the majority. Because at the end of the day, the majority is gonna keep you. It's gonna keep the lights on. the majority is going to keep your product prospering for a long time. And that's what people need to understand. Because when you listen to like a niche audience over your majority, a perfect example is what's happening with Overwatch right now, which I will play after this. But again, we have to start listening to criticism by our audience, by the majority. And I feel like if we really start reflecting on taking criticism and actually reviewing what we're doing and actually trying to make what we're trying to take a step back and actually like make it better, I feel like we can grow and we'll be able to actually be more creative and have more of an imagination when it comes to making products.
Could this guy have fit any more buzzwords in that post either? What is that, like 4 sentences? He managed to shovel so many buzzwords in that stuff. It's crazy. And so that's where we can see these apparent responses from Relooted CEO Ben Myers. But before we take a look at all those posts, let me show you this one that I mentioned from Chris Kindred. It says, "We're here in this moment explicitly because Steam wouldn't do anything they didn't do any..." Wait a second, hold on. The phrasing here is really funny. Or either I read that wrong or the phrasing's really funny. Let me try again. "We're here in this moment explicitly because Steam wouldn't do anything. They didn't do anything about this at the critical moment." Yeah, the phrasing's funny. Absolute abdication of responsibility. Steam wouldn't do anything. They didn't do anything about this at the critical moment. The critical moment? What is that even supposed to mean, bro? What is the critical moment? These people are such drama queens. And so as mentioned, Chris Kindred is someone who was formerly a narrative designer at Canadian DEI consultation firm Sweet Baby Inc. And
I don't know what happened to Sweet Baby Inc. I don't really hear about them anymore. I feel like a lot of people stopped. I feel like we stopped hearing about them ever since I want to say like 2025, like mid or late 2025. A lot of people we just stopped hearing about them. I don't know what happened to them. I really hope they're not working on any of the games, because they ruined a lot of games. Like they ruined Arkham, the Arkhamverse with Kill the Justice League. They ruined Spider-Man 2. Even though I will argue that Insomniac helped to ruin that game too, but yeah, they ruined everything they touched. So I really hope they don't get any more products. They don't get any more properties. They don't get any more contracts. Because, like I said, it's a company that offers services that literally nobody needs. And I don't even think anyone should be pouring money into companies like that. I believe they tried to approach the studio that did Black Myth. I believe they tried, and Black Myth refused, which I believe it was them. And I'm happy they refused them, because if they didn't refuse them, Black Myth wouldn't be what it is right now currently. They did release a trailer for the sequel. I still need to play that game. It's in my Steam folder. I still need to play that game. But yeah, I really hope Studio Inc. doesn't pick up any other shit.
this is someone who previously advocated for censorship over on Steam because he was offended at the stuff gamers were saying there, and also offended that gamers were pointing out games that Sweet Baby Inc. had worked on. And so he didn't like that. He didn't like that transparency. He didn't like that people were saying, hey, SBI worked on this game, just letting you know. And he wanted anyone that would say such things banned. And not just banned, he even advocated for people's entire Steam accounts to get banned too. So to clarify, not just like banned on a Steam discussion forum, but their entire Steam account banned. Which, you know, would mean you lose your entire Steam library. All those games you spent money on, this guy wanted you to lose all that because you had the audacity to say, hey, SBI worked on that game, just letting you know. That's how unhinged these people are. So it's a pretty funny little cameo here that we see Chris Kindred over in the Blue Sky Echo Chamber still advocating for censorship on Steam. This stuff with SBI happened years ago. I think it was back in 2024, if I recall. And to this day, man is still just that pressed over it all. And that takes us back to Ben Myers, the CEO of the dev studio behind this Relooted Game, where Ben Myers is responding to this TEG person that we read a few minutes ago that said, "This is the Steam forum for Relooted, and it's all grave dancing right-away culture war incels. Do you think Valve's ever going to crack down on this stuff? They allow this nonsense to fester on their platform, providing hate mongers a soapbox to spew vile racist BS. Deeply frustrating." And Ben Myers responds and says all this: "Based on the torrid stuff they mark as not against terms of service when it's reported, I doubt they have much interest ever addressing this, which is particularly awful considering you can't turn off forums as a dev."
Another thing too, when these people say that, oh, they're saying all this hateful stuff, this is what I said earlier. Like, it's not even hateful stuff most of the time. It's just criticism. Like, people are just giving their opinions about how they feel about the game, and they're just critiquing it. And again, people like this, they just see it as hate. I guarantee you, if we go into the forum and actually read the comments, like, it's just criticism. Like, don't get me wrong, there'll be some people saying some outlandish stuff, but I guarantee you most of it is just constructive criticism.
This guy wants to turn off the Steam forums on his game, brother. Those Steam forums have more active people there than your game does. TEG says, "One solution I've seen other devs use is to lock the whole forum and leave a single locked thread pointing to a platform they have actual moderation power over." Just go to Reddit. Go to our subreddit. Maybe that's an option for y'all. Either way, deeply sorry you have to deal with this BS. 2014 never ends. Ben says, "We'll look into it." Part of the issue, though, is that if you use your moderation powers if you use your moderation powers too much as a dev, then there is a cottage industry of YouTubers who make videos about your forums. And then that drives more bad faith actors there. Went through this when we announced. Just it becomes a feedback loop of never-ending new accounts dropping in. Basically impossible to moderate the volume that occurs when that happens. And that's the end of it. So it sounds like what happened, speculating, is Ben saw that people were sharing these screenshots outside of Blue Sky, sharing them on Twitter/X. Some people already made YouTube videos about this. He deleted this stuff as some sort of like damage control or something. I don't know.
Most likely, yeah.
Didn't want more people talking about it, more people making videos about it. But it's like, dude, the screenshots are already out there. And now here we are. It's also funny where he complains that YouTubers will cover if devs censor gamers. And he frames it as like a cottage industry of YouTubers who will cover that stuff. And he's framing it in a negative light. But in reality, that just means that we're individuals working on our own, as opposed to industry people like him that have industry support and funding. And that's to say that it actually makes us look better, and he doesn't realize that, which is pretty funny. Something else funny is that Relooted and the people behind Relooted, like Ben Myers, have actually been accused of being racist themselves. People arguing that Relooted, the game, perpetuates racist stereotypes. And these people have said nothing about that stuff. But they're really quick to label gamers as racists. Meanwhile, again, they don't address what people are saying about their own alleged racism. Instead, they're busy complaining about Steam forum posts and being worried that people will make YouTube videos if they censor their Steam forums. Reminds me of discourse in 2024 around Ubisoft and Star Wars Outlaws, where it was reported that Ubisoft was trying to pressure Steam to hide or limit the visibility of the concurrent player count for their titles. They were so humiliated that people could see the extremely low player count on their Ubisoft games. That they wanted that censored. They didn't want people to.
I remember that. Like, they were trying to like cover up the numbers, and again, it's just like, dude, like, if you're proud of your product, you shouldn't be trying to hide certain things. Like, this is something that people need to understand. Like, it's the same thing with the whole Sweet Inc. Alert. I mean, not the alert. The Finder thing. Like that Steam thing that they made, where if something's made by Sweet Inc., you'll get the notification for it. Like, you'll know. And Sweet Inc. found out about it, and they tried to like get that person removed, blocked, or whatever. And it's just like, if you're proud of the work you do, you shouldn't be upset when people call you out on it. And again, you trying to cut corners to shield yourself and hide yourself from these people, it just goes to show you that you know what you're doing is in bad faith, and it goes against the majority.
Be able to see that data, apparently. And so I'm just getting like similar vibes from this as well. You know, we see this time and time again where some modern audience slop games come out and these people very quickly jump to a smear campaign or just outright censorship. The smear campaign was their old strategy. They'd contact their gaming journalist buddies, get some nonsense article written up. Oh, the gamers are chuds, blah, blah, blah. We don't deserve this. Like, no one cares about what gaming journalists have to say anymore, though. So, like, some of them still try that strategy, and it just fails instantly. Because, again,
Yeah, nobody listens to gaming journals anymore. Like, nobody.
no one cares about gaming journalists like that. And some of them don't even try it anymore. Instead, oh, how can we get Steam censored so people can't voice their opinions like this? Yeah, they would love if, like, people were forced to only use Reddit and they could have their...
Oh, man, they would. They would love to try to censor Steam. Like, they would love to try to do that. Because, again, these creatives, they hate the majority. Because they know the majority, in terms of the true gamers, they don't want shit like that. They only care about, like I said, these niche groups, people who care about this representation, all this bullshit, this DEI shit. These are the people that these Western gaming does and these gaming journals care about. They don't care about the majority, the true gamers. They don't care about them. Like, if anything, they hate them.
You know, Reddit White Knight mods, just remove any post, ban anyone that has
Like,
dissenting.
there's a reason why when games that majority gamers love, the gaming journals, they bad review it. But if a bad game comes out that majority of the gamers don't like, they'll give that shit a good review. Like, there's a reason why it's always like that. And again, you look at shit like that, and it's just like, and you ask yourself, like, why are these gaming journals still have a job? Like, they're literally working against the players. Like, it's insane.
Opinion. Anyways, yesterday was that High Guard dev that was all whiny and crying and trying to play victim. Now we got this Ben Myers guy. That's the industry for you. Well, this part of the industry at least.
But yeah, that was the video right there. But yeah, good video from Hero. Hey, there's also another video I want to play from him before we move on to the Overwatch stuff. But yeah, it's just telling to me, like, we need to go back to making games for gamers and stop trying to pander to an audience that does not exist and does not even buy games. Like, again, this game, the player count, like, where's the player count? Where they showed it? Like, the player count right now is 36 players. 36 players. All-time peak of 57. And this shit was marketed like, so I don't want to hear that, oh, we didn't get that, like, there wasn't that much reach. Like, no, this game was marketed pretty big. I don't know, like, pretty big, but it got out there. All eyes were able to see it. So again, this is funny to me. But let's move on to High Guard, because High Guard is another epic failure that I think a lot of people knew was going to fail. The fact that they showed this before they gave the Game of the Year award, like, it's just like, why the hell would you show something like this? Like, the moment, like, just the sheer moment, like, you can look at the comment sections too, on most people who stream the Game Awards. Literally, when the trailer started playing, everyone was just like, bro, this game is DOA. Literally. But yeah, let's take a look at this video.
High Guard boss Chad Grenier was previously in the news for saying that it doesn't matter how many people played the game, only that the game is loved by the people who played it. And it's like, yeah, okay, bro, that's some real sweet talk, but the player count does matter, especially for a live service game, and you definitely need people playing and spending money on it. And yeah, that didn't work out so well, because late last night, this LinkedIn account, Alex Grainer, talked about how most of the team at Wildlight was laid off.
I didn't even... Yo, see, and this is what I said earlier. This is what I said earlier. When you go against the majority, when you go against the customer, making shit that nobody wants, this is what happens. Either layoffs happens or the company won't last. This is a perfect example right here. Literally.
And just a few hours after that LinkedIn post, Wildlight Entertainment confirmed that news over on their Twitter account, talking about these layoffs that they're now enacting. To make it even better, this dev from Wildlight just came out with a long statement that is taking no accountability on anything and instead just blaming.
And that's the problem too. Like when a game fails, the devs never want to take accountability for the failure. They just want to blame bad actors and all this, and call all these people phobes and all that, everything in the book. And it's just like, dude, like you're not learning from this. And this is what I said about taking criticism and taking feedback. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Their ego thinks that what they did, like, they were in the right. And this is what I'm talking about when it comes to entertainment nowadays. People just do not want to take accountability and admit that they failed. They just don't want to admit it. Like, admitting to yourself that you were wrong, or if you failed at something, it builds your character. It humbles you. That way, you can better prepare yourself and be a better creative. When you don't want to take accountability, you're literally gonna do the same shit. And arguably it'll be worse. It's gonna get worse. Like, until they realize their mistakes, it's only gonna get worse from here.
I mean, gamers, you guys were too mean to this game. How dare you guys not support Highguard? So we're gonna read that entire code post from this Highguard dev, this Wildlight dev. But quick side note, I actually just recorded a 10-minute segment talking about the layoff news and the shills who are coping and blaming gamers. And then right as I finished that video, this dev came out with this statement. So I was unsure what to do. Do I just release the video I have already and then do a second one on Highguard and this dev? Or do I try to fit that statement into the video I've already got? And so I've actually decided on the second option. I'm going to try to fit it all into one video. But the reason I'm making this disclaimer is because after we read this post, keep in mind the rest of this video was actually recorded before this part. So you might hear me repeating the same points throughout this video, in particular after we take a look at this new statement from a dev. And that's why, because I already recorded that part before, and a lot of what I already said in this video is probably going to apply to what this dev is saying now. So yeah, my apologies for that, but I'm going to do my best to cover this. So let's get started with this dev post. Josh Sobel, this dev who was formerly at Wildlight, guess he got laid off, I'm presuming, says, reflecting on shipping my first game, Highguard. Apologies for the length. Been wanting to say a lot of this for a while. The day leading to the Game Awards 2025 was among the most exciting of my life. After 2.5 years of passionately working on Highguard, we were ready to reveal it to the world. The future seemed bright. Everyone I knew who had any connection to the team or project had the same sentiments. This is lightning in a bottle. I trust this team wholeheartedly. If there's one project nobody in the industry is worried will fail, it's yours. Oh my gosh. This has mainstream hit written all over it. There's no way this will flop. I could play this game all day. Yeah, it's a perfect example of...
Yeah, again, see, it's cult... Oh, man. Like, dude, literally... I knew, like, the reaction of the Game Awards. I feel like if they were watching these people streaming that Game Awards and they saw how people were reacting to the trailer and they were reading the what people were saying in the comments, like, I knew every single person who worked on the game would be quaking, would be shaking right now and be sweating in fear. Because, again, for one, thank God. I know they're like, thank God this was a free-to-play game. Because if this was a game you had to pay for, like Conquered, I'm telling you right now, this would be just like Conquered. This would be Conquered 2, if it wasn't free-to-play. I feel like because it was free-to-play, a lot of people actually went out of their way to play the game. And I feel like the complaints about the game is kind of the same. 3v3 battle. And I heard like the map is like huge. It's like it's too huge for 3-on-3. But yeah, man, it's just crazy to me that this game launched. Did this game launch this month? It was this month, right? If I'm not mistaken. I want to say it was this month. This month, or maybe towards the end of last month. This game launched a couple of weeks ago, and it's literally dead. They're already doing layoffs, and it doesn't even look like the company might last. Like, this is crazy, man. This is crazy.
Of the toxic positivity mindset that infests the Western gaming industry. Specifically AAA, it's very common there, but not exclusive there. That said, a lot of the devs from Wildlight are from the AAA sector, so there is a crossover. But here's the other part of it too. These are grown adults. Like, it's their fault for believing the yes men around them that are just shilling for the game to them. Like, they could have actually done a beta test or something, but instead...
And another thing too, the reason why we get shit like this, a lot of these people who work in the industry, they're really out of touch with the people they're trying to cater to. They're really out of touch. They're either out of touch or they just refuse to cater to them. When you see that happen, and we've seen that happen a couple of times. Like, for example, Sweet Baby Inc. is a perfect example of a group that refuses to cater to the majority. But, like, it's just crazy to me that this game was revealed at the end of the Game Awards in the slot where, like, people are going to think, yo, this is about to be the next best thing. Like, this is going to be huge. Like, and then it was met with just, like, people were just not interested. And I feel like, and another thing, too, I feel like a lot of these people, and especially content creators, too, like, I feel like we need to be honest with these developers. Like, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. The reason why some of these people, especially content creators, they're always nice to these developers and always say everything they do is fire is because, they don't want to lose the sponsorship, they don't want to lose the early access, all that stuff, the perks. But I'm just gonna be honest, man. Like, if you truly want to help the industry that you love, it's best to be brutally honest with them. Like, that's just me. Like, I'm sorry. Like, that's just the honest truth. Like, you have to be honest with them. And I feel like, and obviously, obviously they're not going to agree with you all the time, but I feel like if we start to adopt something like that, and every sponsor is, like, honest with these developers, developers will have to change gears. Like, that's just my personal opinion. But overall, these people in the industry are really out of touch with what people actually want.
They wanted to just believe all of this sweet talk they were getting, and then they wanted to shadow drop this game out of nowhere. That was their original plan before the Jeff Keighley Game Awards part, where he came to them with the idea. And then they chose to go with that idea too, which is something I'll be talking about later on this video as well. This is to say, like, these people need to take accountability.
I'm telling you right now, if they shadow drop this game, nobody will be playing that shit.
Ability for what they do, and they never do. Continuing, he says, the internal pre-reveal feedback, even from unbiased sources, was quite positive, and where it was negative, it was constructive and often actionable. People who played the game, including us, had a blast. And since we were an independent self-published studio built with royalties in mind, many of us were hoping this could finally be the thing that broke the millennial financial curse. Oh gosh, the pity party's ridiculous here. But then the trailer came out and it was all downhill from there. Content creators love to point out the bias in folks who give positive previews after being flown out.
Oh, so they did see people reacting to it. Huh. So you saw people reacting to it and you still went forward and releasing the game? Oh man, already there I would have paused production right there. I would have paused the release date and I would have moved everything back. I would have done a whole restructure after that if I was in charge.
Out for an event, but ignore the fact that when their negative leaning content gets 10 times the engagement of the positive, they've got just as much incentive to lean into a disingenuous direction, whether consciously or not. The hate started immediately. In addition to dogpiling on the trailer, I personally came under fire due to my naivety on Twitter, which almost all of my now former coworkers had learned to avoid during their previous game launches. After setting my Twitter account to private to protect my sanity, many content creators made videos and posts about me and my cowardice, amassing millions of views, and inadvertently sending hundreds of angry gamers into my replies. They laughed at me for being proud of the game, told me to get out the McDonald's applications. Oh wow, that's so awful, dude. And mocked me for listing having autism in my bio, which they seemed to think was evidence the game would be woke trash. All of this was very emotionally taxing. So I actually remember covering a tweet of his back in December, and it was this one where he said, day one of being a game dev with a public-facing game, and I got 75 plus quote retweets, personally ripping me apart, simply for being excited to share what I poured myself in.
I don't get why people post if they have like any. I don't get why they post like if they have like autism or something like in their bio. Like I really don't get that. Like they post it in there like it's a flex, and I just don't understand that. I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. I don't know why they do that.
Into for years, locked the account for the time being. And this guy's just misconstruing what actually even happened here. First of all, the quote-unquote woke trash comments, you can search for yourself. People who said that term to him. And there's only 3 comments. One from 12 hours ago, so that one doesn't count by default. Then you got one from January 20th and one from December 15th. So you have 2 examples. One that had no likes and one that had 1 like. This guy's apparently having a whole breakdown over this. Continuing, he says,
yeah, that's another thing too. Like these developers, they'll say like they get angry comments in the social media, when really it's like it's not even that many. So, again, these people are just bad actors. Honestly, man, bad actors trying to shield themselves, trying to secure their integrity and their beliefs in terms of what they're doing. Thinking that way, everyone can think that what they're doing, they're like in the correct. And these quote unquote hateful / toxic people are in the wrong. Because at the end of the day, they always have to put themselves where they are in the right.
There's much constructive criticism that can be and has been said about Hygart's trailer, marketing, and launch, but I don't think it's my place to commentate on that. I also don't think there's any way to know whether the launch would have fared better or worse without the massive spotlight that was thrown onto us in response to the Game Awards trailer placement, but we never got that chance. You guys didn't have to say yes to Jeff Keighley. You could have said, hey, we're good, we're just gonna...
Man, I would have said... Man, if I was in charge and I worked on the game, I would have said no. Just to be honest, I would have said no. And the thing is, if I was there, my thing is, I think I would have asked if you want to put our game in the Game Awards, put us like in the beginning. Don't put us at these slots where people expect big game trailers. Like, don't put us like in a slot, especially towards the end. Like, do not give us a slot like that. You know what they should have put at that slot? Even though they should have only revealed new games, I don't think people would have been upset if they showed that Phantom Blade Zero game. I don't think people would have been upset if they put that there. But yeah, because last year, like, people are still mad about the last Game Awards when they showed Intergalactic. People are still upset about that shit.
Gonna shadow drop it like we planned on. Thanks for the offer. You guys chose to accept his offer. Don't play victim later when you are grown adults making conscious choices just because they didn't end up good for you.
Exactly.
We turned into a joke from minute 1, largely due to false assumptions about a $1 million ad placement, which even prominent journalists soon began to state as fact. Within minutes, it was decided this game was dead on arrival, and creators now had free rage bait content for a month. Every one of our videos on social media got down-vetted to heck.
And ever since they showed the trailer for that game at the Game Awards, there has been 0 to no marketing for that game since release.
Sections were flooded with copy-paste meme phrases such as Concord 2 and Titanfall 3 died for this. At launch, we received over 14,000 review bombs from users with less than an hour of playtime. Many didn't even finish the required tutorial because your game was that boring. People are not obligated to play an hour or 2 before they decide it's not for them and to leave a negative review. I mentioned this before as well, and again in this video, I'll bring it up again. I just cannot believe what's going on here with this dev right now, guys. Dude, first of all, dude's crying about meme comments. That's pathetic. You're crying about meme comments. Get over yourself.
Exactly.
But then
the
also
internet.
trying to dismiss all the negative reviews as just review bombing and like trying to invalidate them because they didn't play enough. Bro, you're lucky 100k people, 100k plus people even gave your game a chance. This emotional appeal for people to treat you like a victim right now is really not doing you any favors. This is a really bad post.
And like I said, I feel like the reason why a majority of these people played the game is because the game was free. I'm telling you right now, if the game was not free, this game would have died in a matter of days. Like, possibly would even, I don't even think it would have lasted a week. Because I think Conquer died in like 8 days, I believe? Like in 8 days? I feel like the same thing would have happened to that game. If that game wasn't free to play.
We're not even done yet, though. Let's keep going. In discussions online about Highguard, Concord, 2XKO, and such, it is often pointed out by gamers that devs like to blame gamers for their failures, and that's silly. As if gamers have no power. But they do. A lot of it. Oh my gosh. I'm not saying our failure is purely the fault of gamer culture and that the game would have thrived without the negative discourse, but it absolutely played a role. All products are at the whims of the consumers, and the consumers put absurd amounts of effort into slandering Highguard, and it worked. Dude, your game's just bad. You should be trying to learn from the mistakes that y'all just made. But instead, there's no accountability, there's no self-reflection, there's no attempts at improvement, there's just a lot of, oh, I'm a victim, feel bad for me, and those gamers are evil. Many of Wildlight's former devs will now be forced to assimilate back into the actual corporate industry many gamers accuse Wildlight of being a part of. Now, every time someone thinks about leaving the golden handcuffs behind in favor of making a new multiplayer game the indie way, they'll say, but remember how gamers didn't even give Wildlight a chance? You had over 100,000 concurrent players. You had your chance. The entitlement from these people is insane, where they will see 100,000 plus concurrent players and then still act like they were never given a fair chance. It's ridiculous. He says, soon, if this pattern continues, all that will be left are corporations, at least in the multiplayer space. Innovation is on life support. You guys didn't innovate anything anyways. You had like an amalgamation game that didn't actually try any new concepts. You just...
Yeah, they even tried any new concept. It was just like another hero shooter that literally, mind you, people are tired of the genre. Like, and like the only relevant hero shooter that's out right now is Marvel Rivals. Like, that's like the only one that people actually want to play. Because we all know what happened to fucking Overwatch, which I'm about to play next. But I'll stop the video there. Really good video about Highguard. Yeah, the game died. Like, that game is dead. Which is not surprising whatsoever. But yeah, let's take a look at this video from Gundam. It's about what's happening with it's about a situation that's happening with Overwatch, and it's just telling. This is a perfect example of what I'm talking about when you listen to a niche, small audience over your overall audience. Like, this is a perfect example, and especially you're listening to someone who literally doesn't have a creative backbone. But let's take a look at this.
Seashells. I see you in that red hat. Get out here right now. Team building is mandatory.
You too.
Says so.
Have a heart. I have all this work to do. You know that.
Seashell.
You don't understand. You're not an artist.
What's up, you little rat finks? There's no script, so now I can say what's actually on my mind, and I won't be able to control my potty mouth. The usual happened. The progressive decided to be offended by a non-issue. It's about the voice actor in Overwatch, and let's just be real here. There was a time when Overwatch was the shit, dude. Do you remember when it dropped in like 2016? How hype it was for years? Dude, we gotta admit it. A lot of us that were into Overwatch, we were buying loot boxes like they were crack.
Leading edge technology innovation. Loot boxes. Loot boxes have made headlines over the past year, and you, the moronic gobbling maw of consumer idiocy that you are, have shown little to no regret in just plain dumping your money into this deeply insulting monetization model.
Gotta get some.
I never got into Overwatch. I heard great things from it. I've seen a lot of fan art from it, especially from Tracer. But yeah, never really got into Overwatch.
Legendary love. Let's see what Jeff Kaplan is gonna play. It's a duplicate.
We couldn't help ourselves. We were just completely enthralled in the game. Somehow Blizzard took an MMO that failed and turned it into a shooter that was just a license to print money. But it's in all things that do with being on the West Coast and the sunny side of the San Fernando Valley. So then they started drinking the stupid juice. They took Overwatch and started to really cater it towards the alphabet soup people and the mentally unhinged. Dangerous cocktail, if you ask me. Before you knew it, everyone and their mother was gay. Soldier 76, he's gay all of a sudden. It made no sense. None.
This is funny.
He's gay.
Characters you thought were cool. And I'm not saying them being gay makes them uncool, but it made no sense, dawg. I haven't been this distraught since I found out Rob Halford from Judas Priest was a pillow biter. It threw me for a loop, but still, we enjoyed the game. But then they made the game worse because the people who want a LARP started complaining. So Blizzard screwed up matchmaking so people didn't get their fifis hurt. Before you know it, these idiots make Overwatch 2 for no reason. They downgrade some of the visuals. Oh, we're gonna have PvE and all this other stuff. They force us to play it. The game's actually worse now. There's no PvE. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, well, you know, we got some new queer characters on the table. What do you say?
And so, can you imagine how many lives this is going to be saving?
They also got rid of the loot box system to put a more predatory system in there, praying to God people would pay more for skins rather than you getting a skin you actually like for $3 by chance.
Money, please.
Or even worse, you just play the game regularly, you get your free loot boxes, and then in one of your free loot boxes you actually get a nice skin that's like $10. They couldn't have that anymore. Bobby Kotick was pissing himself in rage because these people are literal vampire pot-bellied goblins and they're hobbling around and coming after your wallet. My point is that basically Blizzard and Overwatch is so infested with activists, progressives, and the alphabet soup gang that they hire people that are like-minded. Which brings us to this voice actress who was then upset with the character being too attractive. I think that's the least of your worries. You better make them more attractive because Marvel Rivals is killing it. Every woman in there is just a knockout. And they got these beautiful outfits. Oh well, whatever, let's hear what she's got to say.
Hi friends, I'm Fariha and I voice Anran in Overwatch.
You can already tell this chick's a pain in the ass. She's got dyed hair, like she's an anime character, red contacts, and I've never met a woman in my life, not never, forever, ever, forever, ever, that wasn't a problem that had like little splits in her eyebrows. I'm just talking from experience. I've dated them. They do nothing but cause issues.
大家朋友们好，我是 Fariha， 我是安然的英语配音演员。I'm gonna be so honest. I'm nervous about this video because I didn't want to not address the elephant in the room.
What's the elephant?
But I didn't want to step on the devs' toes or speak on their behalf because...
Lady, do your job and shut the earth up.
That's literally what I'm saying. Like, why are you, like... You're just a voice actor. This is the equivalent to, even though this is happening with localization, it is the equivalent to English voice actors for anime voicing their opinion on the arts of these mangaka when it comes to voicing their characters in their anime adaptations. This is literally the equivalent to it, in my opinion.
What happened to this country? Back in the day, you did your job, you picked up your check, you got the F out of Dodge. Now we gotta hear, everybody thinks they're more important than they are.
It's this tightrope in my mind of trying to honor the community and everyone's criticisms because I agree, and also give grace to the developers because they're...
Criticisms. I think I saw some people complain the character was a bit too attractive, or you could swap out the hair and it looked like all the other Blizzard characters. Like, what do you expect? It's Blizzard. All right, you don't expect them to make you art anymore. This is slop. They're making you another cute character and they're praying to God you buy some more skins.
Always trying their best in the situation they're in, right? So I wanted to make sure...
I just can't, I'm sorry. I couldn't imagine how semi-charmed your life has to be. where the biggest issue in your day is that you think a Blizzard character is too attractive.
I wanted to make sure that was there before I celebrated anything.
Like, we're literally talking about fiction here. Like, we're talking about a freaking video game here. And she has a problem with how the character looks in terms of her looking like an attractive female. It's fucking video games. And this is what I don't get, too. There's a reason why Marvel Rivals is winning. Okay? The females look good. The males look good. The males look handsome, masculine, and they're muscular. The females look feminine, curvy in the right places. Not too crazy curvy, just like curvy like an actual female, like an average female. And they look appealing. Appealing to the point that people are willing to go out of their way to actually play the game. Like, they like the characters, like to cosplay the characters, like to do fan art about these characters. And again, it's just weird to me that people have a problem with attractive characters. Like, this goes back to the whole situation with Stellar Blade with Eve. Like, why are people upset about an attractive character? Mind you, Eve, the model that was scanned for Eve, like, she was scanned by a real model. Like, literally anyone could search this up. It's all over the internet. So it's just amazing to me that people have a problem. And it's only females. It's only females, because you never find guys talking about this shit. It's always females that have a problem with this. And it's just really confusing to me. Like, this is fiction. This is fiction. This is not real. This is fiction. We're talking about a fucking video game. And it's just weird to me that they have a problem with it. But when you act, when you do what they want, when you do what they say, and you make females look ugly, and you say this character looks better, and then you say, hey, this character looks like you, they get upset, because it's just like, bro, they don't want you to relate them to that character. The character's ugly. I guarantee you, look at a game like Conquered, look at Marvel Rivals. If you tell the average female that you look like this Marvel hero in Marvel Rivals, they'll be happy about it. But if you tell them they look like a female from Conquered, they'll be upset at you.
Anything myself. So, here goes. I got to mourn Anran between the design I had hoped for her and the design we ended up with.
That doesn't even make sense. You're just a voice actor. You're not a designer. Who cares what you think?
That's what I'm saying.
You're replaceable. This sort of dumb stuff is what's going to lead to AI taking their jobs.
And this is what gets me upset with Blizzard. This is what gets me upset with them. This is what gets me really upset. Why the fuck did you guys not replace her? Like, seriously, why the fuck did you guys not replace her? If a voice actor is giving you problems like this, replace them. They have nothing to do with the creative process. All they're doing is they're just voicing the character. Replace them. We're not talking about live action here. We're just talking about a voice actress. Get someone else. Like, it's crazy to me. It's crazy to me that Blizzard is actually bending the knee to this voice actress.
American voice actors are so fucking cringe. The Japanese voice actors are so much better. The American ones don't know how to shut them up, and they believe that they are the character they're voicing. Remember when Yang Ye was running around dressing up like Kazuma Kiryu and posing and shit? Like, what are you doing?
Because I think in her comic and the cinematic, Elemental Kin, there was a precedent set by it. There was a unspoken promise that said, we're going to challenge the beauty standards plaguing and ransacking media these days, right?
Oh my God. What promise did they made a little digital video to get people hyped to play the character. It's not that deep. And the beauty standard is just human nature. Didn't we spend something like 8+ years being preached to by fat women and ugly women and crippled people that the beauty standard was being changed? You check out Calvin Klein, they have some of the most ugly human beings wearing underwear you've ever seen. And all I can think is if someone's that size and they're wearing Calvin Klein, they're clearly on government assistance because there's no way they could afford this underwear otherwise in that physical condition. They could barely get out of bed or wipe their ass. Good lord. Let's be real here. Everybody wants to look at or hook up with people they find attractive. Most Twitch streamers, the most popular ones, aren't they all attractive conventionally? It doesn't matter how horrible they are, they're conventionally attractive. How many times do I have to read an article where it's telling me Hassan Piker is the most handsome man to ever exist? Like what the fuck? I hate you people. I hate you all.
These days, right? The Ozempic chic, the...
Ozempic chic? What? Where are we going with this?
Contour your nose. You have no nose. The tiniest nose.
Yeah, that's real life, honey. You know why? Because women didn't know how to do their makeup till RuPaul's Drag Race popped off. And then women figured out they could fix the way their face looked without spending 20 grand on a nose job.
And I think because of that precedence, people feel understandably let down.
The only people let down by this are ugly and retarded. I don't care. This is the nothing burger. I'm losing my mind.
Overwatch is a trailblazer at challenging that, right? Of trying to break those molds, of trying to explore the bounds of what it means to be good, what it looks like to be heroic.
Overwatch has spent God knows how many years catering to these types of people that need representation every 5 seconds. And now they finally have a character that's slightly outside of the box or the realm that they want it to be, and everyone is crashing out. Lest we forget, there's no story to Overwatch. It has some great Pixar level little animations that make you care about the character, but when you draw it back, there's nothing there. There's no meat on the bone. There's not even enough villains. What is the plot of Overwatch, dude? It's teaching people how to be good. No, it's not. This isn't the Chronicles of Narnia. It's Tracer's little butt cheeks and some tight pants. Get out of here.
And I think the result we got says something else. It says something that leaves a bad taste.
What?
In our mouths. It's not the bold, optimistic swing that we know Overwatch to make, and...
This is 3 minutes and 47 seconds long. She's like giving a speech that her character is slightly more attractive than she wanted it to be. And now it's an issue.
It's a look that isn't congruent with her personality, right? She looks like the younger sibling. She looks more docile. Somehow, as the fire hero, she looks more docile than the most docile peacekeeping support in the game. And...
Oh my god. Why is she not replaced? Like, why is she not replaced? Like, what are we doing here?
Wow, what a waste. The poor children.
Like, these people really do make just Overwatch so insufferable, bro. Now the voice actors are as obnoxious and repugnant as the loudest Overwatch stan that spends their time in Discord having, like, what are they, those things, they go in there and they like talk to each other and have like digital sex or something.
I've been seeing everyone's redesigns and quietly bookmarking them, but I wanted you to hear that this concern is important. This is a hill worth dying on. It's worth speaking on. Because I believe that the more we speak up about the things that truly matter to us, the more we'll see ourselves reflected in the world around us.
What type of nonsense is this? This is a hill worth dying on?
Like, seriously, like, what the hell is she talking about? Like, you're voicing a character. You are voicing a character. What the hell are you talking about?
Lady, you're not storming the beaches of Normandy. You're not curing cancer. It's a stupid video game character that doesn't matter. Anyway, this created a whole bunch of stupidity online, and mainly she got reamed on by people. I had to dig to find this fantastic art that was so revolutionary that this voice actor was moved. Packer Girl originally discovered this goofiness. Shout out to her. Let's see what we got here.
Katie Cat, thank you for addressing the issue. Faria, I'm glad we have you as Anran's voice actress. I almost want to say Anyang. That's hello in Korean. I love the models you made of her. They are so good. It was killing me that I couldn't say anything or interact, but now I can.
How brave and heroic.
It really means a lot to hear that from you. Thank you. I really hope they hear the community and do what needs to be done.
Hell's teeth, man!
Let's look at these character designs. It looks like a dude now. It's literally a guy with like too much mousse in his hair.
Yeah, looking kind of boyish there. Especially with the eyes in a way. Looking kind of boyish. Really confused on what was wrong with the original character. At least I'm surprised they didn't give them the square jaw.
Here. The next one was even worse. Look at this. It's Inuyasha. And they're like, this is what Anran should look like. She should look like a dude cross-dressing. Why am I not surprised that the lesbian... Ever notice a trend? Lesbian voice actresses all seem to be activists.
I'm sorry. Oh my god, please don't cancel me. Oh my god, like I care.
It makes sense that the lesbian voice actor would be moved by a character redesign that looks super duper masculine, because that's what we all need. I hope they do this in Overwatch Dies again. I'll jerk off like DSP at the beginning of a pre-stream. That's the hate boner I've got for this. Here's a good little excerpt.
Help us push the agenda. I shall.
Oh my god, look at that. We're on the front lines, kids. They're fighting for their rights of making sure that Overwatch never, not once, steps out of line and makes a character that's aesthetically pleasing to heterosexuals. Make sure every character is gay or trans-coded. From now, forevermore.
Yep, because it appeases the male gaze, which, again, like... Oh, man. Western gaming, man. Western gaming in a nutshell.
Sancionados. It's Spanish for something. We've got the bearded, big-boobed, beautiful buff baby girls.
What the hell is even that?
Daddy, chill.
There's a title for you. This is the kind of incels they're inviting in this game. If we keep designing women looking the exact same.
Yeah, the person drawing gay Overwatch fan fiction is calling someone else an involuntary celibate. The jokes write themselves at this point. Let's just be real here. The Alphabet Soup people took over Overwatch.
If Blizzard's really going to change Anran's face, I have to warn them as a Chinese player.
Oh, that's right, I forgot. A lot of the Chinese are not on with Anran being less attractive because, horror of horrors, China and South Korea love hot chicks in video games. I know, Stellar
Blade, Marvel Rivals, it's not surprising. It's not surprising. Even though the Chinese are pretty strict on what type of media they show, they still make their female characters look attractive. Again, look at Marvel Rivals. Look at, what is that game? Wu Chang? I think Wu Chang was Chinese. Like, look at her character.
Blade making like $1 billion, crazy. You'd think it was a one-off thing.
I've seen plenty of communities edit for Anran. Frankly, people are getting mad, not at Blizzard, but at some of the community edits. There's supposed to be screenshots in Chinese forums here posted, blah, 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 blah.
Violation of subreddit 5 rule, wow. At least they're not talking about politics, though. We're just like in the gender wars.
We admit that her current look isn't perfect, but at least she's pretty enough. In other words, you can't go wrong with it. It's a safe design. So if you don't change anything, or if you make her even prettier, everyone will be fine. But if you go with something like the two on the right, it's going to be the worst PR disaster ever for Overwatch in China. Hardly any Chinese players will accept that look for a Chinese hero. Tensions are already high in the Chinese community now. I love Overwatch, and this update is fantastic. Please don't let it turn into a disaster. I didn't expect this to get such a huge response, but I feel that I need to point this out.
So, apparently, bearded, big boob, baby, beautiful, buff, chicken, piglet, whatever the name is upset with this.
Mad. Sounds like China's gotten too comfortable being the target audience. Their steak is too juicy. Lobster too buttery. Literally, every game is made for a Chinese audience now. I don't care that they don't like husbandos or realistic-looking women. Blizz is Riot 2.0 now. It's not even just catering to the Chinese. It's more like catering to the straight incels in China. For what reason? I have no idea.
Oh, I do have one. They'll play the character and buy the skins.
I have no idea, considering women in China has just as much buying power, if not more, when it comes to fictional characters, yet companies are too stupid to realize it.
I think the companies aren't stupid to realize it, because if these companies were as stupid as we believe, which they would have gone out of business. Let's wrap this up. So the news ran around the internet, everybody's kind of freaking out. The Chinese are not pleased. I'm not going to go through all of the Chinese messages and the Japanese talking about the nuttiness that's ensuing, because it's kind of a lot. Blizzard being Blizzard, they immediately bent the knee to make sure that the people on the Alphabet Soup side of things were not offended. God forbid the female character doesn't look...
See, and this is why entertainment is in the position that we're in. Everyone is afraid of offending everyone else, and it's fucking stupid. It is fucking stupid.
Like Ellen DeGeneres. You know, when I think about it realistically, why are they so hell-bent on everything kind of looking like realistic and queer-coded?
I need my character to fit this unrealistic body standard of being overweight and can somehow run without completely spurging out. We literally have video proof that Disney adults built like an ugly Overwatch character or something. Can't even walk a mile without their legs turning bright red, and you have to sit down and massage themselves. And you're like, oh my god, my blood is clogging. Oh my god, my lymphedema.
Yeah, man. Overwatch is cooked. I mean, a lot of people told me Overwatch has been cooked for a while now. Marvel Rivals literally destroyed Overwatch. So, yeah, man. Overwatch is cooked, so no one really talks about it anymore. Last video I wanted to show was the title of the video. Why manga is doing better than American comics. It's quite simple. I think anyone could tell you. I think any person could tell you why manga is better than comics. It's really simple. Let's play this video from Eric July.
It's no secret that the American comic book industry has seen better days. Some people have completely given up on it. They believe everybody that participate in it has hopped on a sinking ship and they're largely wasting their time. In other words, it's a lost cause. But I'm a lot more optimistic than others. That said, I'm a realist. I recognize that a lot has to happen in order for it to turn around. For those of you that don't know who I am, my name is Eric July and I'm the founder and owner of Rippaverse Publishing. We're a relatively new comic book company that launched in 2022, and since then we've sold well over 200,000 total books and made over $10 million in total.
I think he sold like close to 300k books now. Yeah, I believe he sold a bit more now since launching. I think last year they towards the end of last year they said that they sold 100k books, I believe. But yeah, let's continue. Sub Silver, how's it going? Glad that you joined the stream.
Total sales. So I have a lot of skin in the game, and in an industry that is supposedly dying, we've been able to see success. This is going to be a generally positive video. I'll talk about what I think caused the issues, and I'll propose some actual solutions. I'll also dispel of some common myths and give you my opinion on other factors. Let's get into it.
So a couple of weeks ago, the head of DC, Jim Lee, he came out and said that manga is doing something that American comics isn't doing, and it's quite interesting to me because over the past couple of years, especially when it comes to DC, they've been doing some of the most dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life, like the gay Superman, the gay Tim Drakes. It was just like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Like, how is this going to produce sales and garner interest? Like, it just makes zero sense to me. Yeah, it is very tiring. But yeah, they've been doing some. Like, it just hasn't been good. And yeah, like I said, I'm waiting for the day. I'm waiting for the day when they make Batman gay. Like, it's gonna happen. But right now, it's going to happen. But yeah, like, cause a perfect example of why people getting into comics is just like, for example, if someone asks you, yo, I want to get into Batman, where should I start? You literally have to jump through hoops, do a lot of research just to tell them what to read. Manga, if someone watches an anime and they actually, hey, I want to continue getting into this series, just literally see where the anime left off in the manga and tell them where to continue from. It's that easy. Or if they want to get into something, they just start at volume 1. It's that simple. And the reason why manga always wins is because manga and anime, the anime sells the manga and the manga sells the anime. Like, and the anime is a page-for-page adaptation. And obviously, for a lot of years, a lot of people know that Hollywood does not do that. And yeah, it's why manga is better. Yeah, because We all know if an anime strays away from the source material, everyone gets upset. And that's the one thing I love about anime. And I wish we had that here in the West. Like if the Western animated series or something property based on a comic book strays away from the source material, we should be outraging. But the problem is a lot of people working on the content here has an ego. They feel like they want to make a name for themselves, and that is the problem. Yeah, exactly. The anime is made to teach you something. Yeah, I agree.
The obvious thing that people should point to is the success of manga in the West. This shows that there isn't a demand issue. People still read comics and are willing to pay for the books. So there has to be some sort of disconnect that has this younger generation preferring Japanese comics over the American ones, as well as the more adult customers. All that said, though I do think getting the attention of younger generations is important, the entire industry doesn't need to hinge on it just because they did in the past. While it's true that young fans turn into older fans, you can still have geek culture industries that trend towards older teenagers and adults and still see a lot of success. Warhammer 40K is an example of this. Another thing that I think is overstated is...
Another thing that's good about manga too, manga is so diverse. Like, there is literally a genre for almost anything. And anyone who ever says manga doesn't have that much representation and diversity, they are full of shit. And they are completely ignorant. They don't know what they're talking about. Like I said, there is a genre for anything. Like, and exactly, manga is not censored. Like, there is a genre for almost anything in manga that you can think of. Like, I literally finished an anime the other day called Ruri Rocks. It's an anime about rocks and minerals. You have series like Dr. Stone. You have sports. You have the sports genre. You have romance. I love romance anime. One of my favorites is Clannad. You have and I love Violet Evergarden. You have girls love. You have boys love. Like, you have shonen. You have seinen. There is a genre for anything. Isekai, fantasy. Like, there is a genre for literally almost anything. And the thing is too, these manga will make stories on anything, and it works. Like food. Like, for example, Food Wars. Like, people look at it as an ecchi series. Like, there's actually a lot to learn about that series. Like, again, there is a series for almost anything. Literally. One series that I'm interested in watching soon is a series on Netflix called Orb. Very underrated series from what I hear. I actually need to start reading that soon. But again, man, it's just amazing that there's a series about anything, man. Like, one of the greatest series that I said a long time that this a mangaka from Japan made, that's not even has to do with anything that's to do with Japanese, but has to do more so with Norse mythology, is Vinland Saga. Like, Vinland Saga is so fucking good, man. And again, this is made from someone from Japan doing a story based off Norse mythology and Vikings. Such a good fucking series, man. And again, the Japanese, they just know what they're doing. Because I feel like with comics, like, obviously with American comics, I feel like the big genre is always going to be superheroes. And don't get me wrong, the Japanese always take inspiration from superheroes. Like, for example, My Hero Academia is arguably like a love letter to the West about the superhero genre. You can arguably say the same thing too about One Punch Man in a way. But again, it's just amazing that the Japanese can come up with these stories, like simple stories, simple characters, simple premise, and it works. And I say that in terms of like the shonen sense, like with modern shonen nowadays. Like, for example, like I feel like Demon Slayer, Black Clover. I feel like it's a simple premise, basic story, basic goal, and it works. People fall in love with these stories. They fall in love with the characters. I think I heard of dinosaurs. I think I heard of it. I'm telling you, man, they're gonna make a series about anything. I'm waiting for a competitive series about chess. That's what I'm waiting for. I'm surprised. I think there's a manga out there about it, but yeah, I'm waiting for something like that. Yeah, and there's even mangas about music. There's like a music genre. So again, like either playing instruments or like singing. So there's things like yeah, like there's a genre for anything.
The variety issue. Superhero comics are the most in-demand comic, much like shonen style mangas are the most in-demand mangas. Yet there exist all sorts of other mangas, from sports to food. Likewise, there's plenty of variety in American comics. There exists all types of different comics out there, so the lack of variety is not only overstated, it's just flat out incorrect. I think a lot of these myths stem from people not wanting to accept some harsh realities, and I think solutions require proper analyzing of the American comic book industry.
Is my video playing? Oh, it's playing on the feed. Oh no, yes it is. Never mind.
And mangas. Both have unique attributes, so it's not about simply copying what the Japanese have done. In a lot of cases, some of what they do was influenced by old American cartoonists and traditions anyway. One thing that I don't think is talked about enough is how it became somewhat of a detriment that the market.
So yeah, I kind of agree with you there. Like when certain mangas have potential to get canceled. So I think the problem is you gotta remember too, Japanese, and this is why I respect how they do things in Japan. They create for a Japanese audience first. It's up to people outside of Japan to adapt into that story. Hunters Guild Red Hood, the reason why it got canceled most likely is because there wasn't that much interest in Japan. I heard that the author's second series he created got canceled too. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but I feel like there might be hope for it because because recently they're starting to adapt canceled series from these manga, like with Black Torch. Black Torch, if I'm not mistaken, that was a canceled series that they're turning into an anime. I'm not sure if they're trying to garner interest for a revival, or if they're trying to I don't know, because I know Black Torch, I know it's a canceled series, and I heard that there's another series that was canceled that's getting an anime also. I forgot the name of it, but yeah, I think they're trying to like see what's working, trying to like garner and see if there's like any interest in these series again. I think a series that I was interested in that got canceled was Phantom Seer a couple years back. But yeah, I do agree that some series do get canceled too soon. Black Torch, I haven't read it yet, so when the anime comes out, I'm probably just gonna like be anime only for that. I have read the author's newest work. Well, it just ended. It's called Heart Gear. That was a decent read. I love his artwork. His artwork's amazing. What's the name of Heart Gear? I think is it Heart Gear or Heart Row? I think the girl's name was Row. But I read his work. It's the same author. Yeah, Heart Gear. Yeah, I do want to collect his I do want to collect all of his manga. Yeah, 7 volumes. Yeah, I need to get it. But it ended because it was on hiatus for like over a year, and I guess it got canned. Yeah, I need to collect that.
Market share has been absolutely dominated by only 2 publishers for several decades. Sure, this could be due to many different factors, but that's what just happened. The entire industry is held up by 2 publishers, and generations of customers, including myself, were conditioned to only look to them as if they're the only legitimate publishers. From the talent to the customers, it all ran through these publishers, so now the health of the industry rests upon them. And unfortunately, for decades, smaller publishers attempted to replicate this model, which simply doesn't work long term unless you have what they have access to. To further put this into
yeah, I feel like that's another problem too. I feel like, especially if you're an independent, you should not try to be replicating what the mainstream media does. I mean, yeah, the mainstream does, because You gotta remember, these guys have millions and billions of dollars in their back pocket, and I feel like you need to find a way that is suitable and more profitable for you in the long run. Because trying to do it how they do it is not the right way to do it, and that's why I respect what Eric July and the Riververse has done.
Perspective, Shueisha is the biggest manga publisher. At best, they represent only 30% of the market share. 30% is like a floor for either of the big two individually. Even right now, over 60% of the market share are between the big two. Of course, America has other publishers, but the makeup is a little more balanced.
I agree. See, the problem right there, Silver, is about people, people trying to make their own stories. I feel like the problem there too is that, especially with these independents, a lot of their stories. I'm just gonna be honest. A lot of their stories, they're just not interesting. They're basically like trying to, like a lot of them are just not unique. Like they're trying to copy some of these. They try to like copy some of these mainstream stories that people already seen before. And I'm just gonna be honest. Like if people, the reason why it's hard for people to get into like these independent mangas here in the West is because one, like we all know that when it comes to manga, people rather read it from Japan or manhwa from Korea. People rather read those than here because there's something that they bring to their stories that we here just cannot bring, and that's why people navigate towards those media instead of here. But I feel like in order to bridge that gap, it also has to do with your writing style, the art, and most importantly how you market the story. But there, yeah, I do agree. There are some diamonds in the rough. There are some stories that are good. Like I heard great things from Fiendish, from Irene Swiskowski. She goes by Rainy Draws on YouTube. I still need to get into that. But I'm interested in her because I see her artwork. Her artwork is amazing. And I heard great things from the story. Just the premise of the story is pretty interesting too. But no, I haven't read that series. The most of the mangas I read is mostly like romance stuff. I don't know. For some reason, I've just been reading a lot of romance manga lately. In terms of manga, what I'm reading right now, I'm reading Heavenly Delusion. Centauria. I just started reading Chain Soldier. I literally just started reading that. And what else am I reading? I'm reading Made in Abyss, and I'm reading I think that's about it. Yeah. I think that's about it. I think the only thing I'm caught up on right now is Heavily Delusion. I think that's the only current thing I'm caught up on right now.
Balanced in Japan. On any given year, you'll see a manga that's a top 10 seller that isn't a Shueisha published book. And though it occasionally happens in comics, it's seen as a rarity. And America is far more populated in addition to having different cultures, so you'd think that it would have a more decentralized market. To really put this into perspective, most of the American top sellers on any given year are based on properties that were created decades ago. Only rarely.
This is what I'm talking, and that's what I'm talking about when there's just not that much creativity when it comes to like these comics anymore. Like another thing too, like you got these activists coming in here writing propaganda and pushing agendas with these comic book characters, and again, like people pick up these books for escapism. People don't want to be hit over the head with this shit. And the fact that the things that are selling a lot right now are comics that came out years ago is just telling. Like these things are literally selling because of reprints. And when you go to comic book stores, the reason why these comic book stores are in business today is because of manga. Sometimes they sell like old games and Blu-rays and Funko Pops and figurines. Those are like one of the main reasons why these comic book stores are in business today.
This isn't the case. With manga and thus anime, you'll see an explosion of properties that were created over the last 10 years. Jujutsu Kaisen, Demon Slayer, Frieren, Blue Lock, massive successes from different publishers.
And that's the thing. Like most of these stories, like with manga, like these are relatively new. Like besides One Piece, like most of these popular series out right now are properties that were literally created very, very recently. Like Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer was made in 2016. Jujutsu Kaisen was made, I think Jujutsu Kaisen was made around the same time. I want to say 2016, 2017. Soul Leveling was 2016, 2015. Like these are new properties. Like these properties are not old. These are relatively new properties. And they're outselling like everything. And it's just funny to me. Like, it's absolutely hilarious to me.
Aren't characters created in the 1960s or before. They still have long-standing properties like Dragon Ball and One Piece that do very well, so I don't think this has anything to do with universes or the fact that some of the characters are older and their stories don't end. It's just customer habits are different with the manga audience, and it's something worth exploring. Even with some of the shonen books being very similar, people are still willing to try new things and new properties. Also, with that said, many of the American properties don't help themselves.
See, and this is the problem with American comic books right now. This is the problem right now. So, the main reason why comics are not doing good is, let me give you an example. One Piece. One Piece came out in what? 98, 99? Still ongoing. Still ongoing. Same characters, same story, still going. Between 99 and 2026, what One Piece was a thing. I think DC has relaunched themselves, I want to say, like 5 times. Like you have the main run, then you have the New 52. What was after the New 52? I think it was DC Rebirth. And I think it was like Doom. Was it? I don't know if that was a run Doomsday Clock or something. Then you had forgot the name of it. It was like this dead. It was like this undead universe. Forgot the name. I think Deathstroke was like one of the major character. Forgot the name of it. And then now you have like the Absolute Run. And again, it's just like you keep on rebooting your universe, changing up lore, changing up characters, and it's just like, why are you guys keep doing that? Doing multiverse shit, and it's just like, why can't you guys just get the same characters and just keep continuing off from where it started? Why do you guys have to keep rebooting? When you keep rebooting, it shows that you guys are just creatively bankrupt. So you have to keep rebooting and changing things around. Like right now, Absolute Batman, I don't think Bruce Wayne's a billionaire. I think he's like a mine worker or something. Like Bruce Wayne's not even a billionaire. So like, again, you just keep rebooting over and over again, and it's just like, dude, people are gonna get tired of this. And not to mention, you try things that just don't work. Like, yeah, he's a construction worker. Yeah, he's a construction worker. And it's just like, what are you guys doing? Like, you keep rebooting to the point where these characters don't even look like the characters or feel like the characters. Like, I understand a lot of people like Absolute Batman. Me personally, I'm not a fan of it. But again, it's just like what are we doing here? Like all different Marvel is another example too. Like, this is when they tried to like do things that just were stupid. Like you had the Black Captain Falcon. You had who else? You had Riri Williams. You had who else is an all new Marvel? All different. I just remember those two primarily. But again, you adapt things that just don't work. Instead of you just continuing to write the characters and continue the stories, you just reboot shit over and over again. And another thing too, when you do animated series, you're not doing page for page adaptations. That's the problem. And that's the reason why people are not buying comic books. Like, if you're doing an animated series, you should do an animated series, like, basically so you can sell the comic books. Because at the end of the day, that's what Marvel and DC are. They are comic book companies. So you should be thinking, when you're creating an anime series, the first thing in your mind is, all right, that should be going through your mind is like, all right, we're creating this animated series to promote the comic book so we can sell it. Meaning that it's best to do a page for page adaptation. That way it incentivizes people to go out of their way to buy the comics if they want to continue the story. There's a reason why a lot of anime that don't get anime continuations, the manga sells, because the anime, they just did the anime so they could sell the comic or the light novel, and it works every time. It works every time. There's been a lot of successful series that have done that. Yeah, I didn't even like the way they made the Joker look in Absolute Batman. It was just so weird.
The constant reboots of universes and books make it nearly impossible for someone new to get in. They don't.
Yeah, like when you constantly reboot it, and then you ask people like, where should I start? That's why people get turned off. Like people, like they get they feel like it's too much and they just lose interest. Like I said, with manga and anime, it's easier. You just read the volume, like per volume.
Don't know where to start. On top of that, which I'll talk a little bit more about later, there's some arrogance to the American creator. They always feel as if they're the center of attention, so they must leave their imprint on these characters. So you can watch a movie on a comic book character and then read the book, and you'll be dealing with two completely different characters.
Exactly. This is what I'm talking about.
Characters that only share the same name. With manga, there's this expectation that the anime is to respect and be accurate to the manga. In fact, when they deviate away from it too far, there's often backlash.
Yeah, there's always backlash. Like I think Sylvia, you said The Promised Neverland earlier. Like, that's a perfect example. Like, when people watch the anime, they expect you to adapt it page per page. So that's my cat in the background. Yeah, I did hear some agenda stuff in the Absolute stuff. But yeah, that's another reason why I hate comics is all the multiverse stuff. Like it's just stupid. Like it's an excuse to race swap, gender swap these characters. Like, and it's so stupid. And plus, nothing matters. At that point, like, nothing matters. Nothing's high stake.
Our habits and expectations are different. And this brings me to my next point as to why I think the Japanese are seeing their success. It's culture, but it's not just in one aspect. Let's first talk about the creator culture, and I know this is going to rub some people the wrong way. The American comic book creator culture is filled with egos and entitlement. It's less about the characters and their story.
I didn't even know that about the Carrie Diaries. If the author takes it out, me personally, I guess it's fine. But if like the anime studio takes it out, then I don't know, I kind of have a problem with it. I mean, I enjoyed it about the Carrie Diaries for what it was. But it sounds like a similar situation with the Nier Automata anime. Like I heard, like there was supposed to be a love scene with 2B and the guy, but it wasn't the author that removed it. It was the I don't know if it was like the editor or something that he removed it.
And more about them and their imprint, as I alluded to earlier. They care more about praise and worship than they do their universes. It's one of the lousiest industries when it comes to being inviting of new talent. Many are in this Mexican standoff, or they're waiting to stab each other in the back just to advance their own careers. Anybody that gains momentum will be met with an onslaught of hatred. I speak from experience. Many think their way is the way, and anybody that does it differently is a threat. A lot of it stems from economic illiteracy, where people look at the market like a fixed pie, as if someone else's success attributes to their own failure. It's a very catty industry. They make this far more difficult than what it needs to be. Then turn around and pretend like this is just how it is. This is how it is. It's tough out there. No, you're just being an ass and overcompensating and treating this like it's the cool kids club.
And that's the problem too. It's ego. It's ego. Like a lot of these people, it's ego. And another thing too, these people that work in the comic book industry, they don't care about comics. They don't. They're just using it as a platform to further their career. Like they don't care about these characters. They don't.
Look, I don't doubt that Japanese folk have their share of the same. It's just not as prominent. And I think that's why a lot of the aspiring new artists are more manga inspired in their art style.
Yeah, and that's true. Like all these inspiring comic artists, they're more so inspired by manga nowadays because like I said, manga is easier to get into and it just looks more appealing.
Countless amount of people have unfortunately seen what I've had to endure, for example, and they've been turned away from being creators. They've reached out to me and explicitly told me that. This means less innovation, which is what this industry really needs. But enough about that. Let's get into some solutions. I did a video titled The Economic Illiteracy of the Comic Book Business. Please go watch it. It's an essay where I break down the economics of the American industry and how it always was on thin ice. One of the benefits of having the big two as they were was that it almost acted as a welfare state for many creators. They're the only ones that could operate like that, and they weren't as profitable as you think. I bring this up to say there needs to be some sort of economic revolution if people are going to thrive. Trying to copy the traditional comic book distribution and pricing model is silly for two reasons. One, it never
I literally said this a while too. Like I made a tweet about this a while ago when Jim Lee Sodi said, like, it is really. I'm just gonna be honest. Like, this is my personal opinion. Everyone is free to disagree with what I have to say. It's really not that hard to fix the comic book industry. Like, if Jim Lee had some balls, what he should do is literally fire all of these activist, agenda-driven writers that are working for DC and hire a new staff that actually cares about comic books and these characters and actually cares about the customers, and the customers like respect them. And I'm talking about like your Chuck Dixon, your what's that guy's name, Mark Miller. Like you hire people like them, and literally, like I know I spoke about reboots and stuff, but you need to launch a mainline universe. No multiverse bullshit. It sticks with the characters that people want to see, starting out with Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Green Lantern, etc. Starting out with those characters, building up to a Justice League, and then so on and so forth. Like continuing the runs with those individual characters, with those team-up characters, and moving forward. Sticking with that one universe, one timeline, and most importantly, have one person write a character. Stop having so many people come in to write a character. There's no reason why there should be 20 to 25 people writing Batman. Like, if you want to have more than one person writing a character, make sure that they stick with the script in terms of what the previous writer has done. That way there's no retconning of anything. That's my only thing. But that's just wishful thinking. Because at the end of the day, we all know all these activist weirdos infiltrate all of these companies, especially in entertainment. So, in order for that, if Jim Lee were to fire everyone, that'll literally, I would say that'll probably be like maybe 80% of DC at this point.
Actually worked as far as profitability, and two, when it was at its best, that was a different technological time. This is why I think it's silly when people think just trying to get their comics on a classic newsstand is going to save the industry like it's the 80s or something. People don't consume, nor do they discover the same way they did in previous decades, especially younger people. The internet is now the newsstand, and all creators, especially independents, will need to adjust and get out of that archaic line of thinking. Now, I believe that the American comic book industry will be saved by the independents. You're going to see different models, and there will never be a universal setup anymore. What works for us will not work for others, and vice versa. Welcome the innovation and understand that you need to always learn. Most importantly, understand that innovation is not a negative thing. It may scare you and make a lot of what you learned obsolete, but don't treat it like it's an attack. This will welcome people.
And there's another thing I said earlier too. These creators, you have to respect criticism. Do not view criticism as hate. And I feel like that's the problem with entertainment right now, and that's why entertainment sucks in the West. People are viewing criticism as like hate, and then they'll call you like all these words, all these phobes in the book, call it like a bigot, a racist, like all this stuff. Criticism helps you grow as a creative. It's not hate.
People to not only create, but to also get involved as customers. You need to understand that most readers aren't your fellow creators. This is a hurdle that a lot of people can't get over, especially when they underperform. You've got to be a capitalist. Unless you're a teacher, your peers are never going to be your primary audience. They also aren't trained to view things through a market lens. You will be broke in no time if you're only trying to serve yourself and your peers, and you think that the audience must live up to your standards as if your art is God's blessing to them. And you must learn that even if you are the guy, you're not always going to be the guy. Stop trying to control people's taste, as it only makes you come off as an elitist. This should humble you and have you think less about tradition and going through the motions and more about fulfilling the demand of the customers. And as for the customers, I think everybody is going to have to realize, as many of you already have, the mainstream isn't the only gig in town. Gaming is also going through this fundamental change. It used to be that people only really bought what was put in their face. So the bigger companies felt like the only ones that existed. But now people are giving indies more of a chance, and the discovery is better due to the internet. Similar things, I think, are going to happen in comic book restructuring. This may mean that there's never another big two, but that's okay. We also must be fair to these publishers and understand that success is not simply measured in the form of this major box office or making millions of dollars. As time progresses, the more people become accustomed to free content. But smaller independent companies can't sustain nor grow without you purchasing the things that you find of value. There are really no loss leaders as an independent. Only big, massive companies can afford to do that. So as you're hearing, it's about making this far more welcoming to both creators and customers. It isn't just a wokeness issue. Yeah, the push for DEI stifles creativity, but wokeness just amplified the problem and was easily identifiable. You had a bunch of identitarians and social political motivated people trying to ham-fist their agenda, and customers didn't want it for various reasons. Opposing politics, bastardization of favorite characters, etc. And many creators walked on eggshells in hopes that they weren't the next to be canceled. This is a hostile environment, and it's impossible for great ideas to flourish during these conditions. It's not fun, and it's certainly not escapism. There are a lot of people doing some awesome things, but obviously we've got a long way to go if the American market is to thrive. I think that this can all be improved upon. I'm not a doomer when it comes to this industry. I'm actually an optimist. Seeing what Iconic Comics are doing with their various series like Common America and Soul Finder is inspiring. They have a big Japanese presence as well, and they work incredibly hard. They understand professionalism is just as important as the quality in what they create. There's no substitute for work. And
yeah, I've been seeing a lot of Japanese posts of Common America. Yeah, that is very inspiring that they actually have a Japanese audience. That's really cool, man.
You can't just skate on by with past accomplishments. Everybody is updating their resume, and you have to work just as hard to deliver as you do on creating. Not everything will work, and not everything will become some monumental success. But we need more folks out there giving it a shot. Even if you aren't directly connected with someone that gets, let's say, new fans enthusiastic about comics, you can benefit from it whether you know it or not. because it places more eyes on the actual industry. Don't be irritated or sour or feel that you are more deserving, and don't try to kneecap anybody because they haven't gone through some arbitrary struggle that you feel they must endure to become legitimate. Being encouraging is what this industry needs. The positivity in it is infectious to both creators and customers. The new era of American comics is going to look a lot different. The market is adjusting, and just because you had a spot in the old system does not mean that you are guaranteed a spot in the future. There were a lot of smoke and mirrors, and people have seen the bubble burst. Others think it's over, but I tend to think that it's just time for a new age. I've said a million times, even if the Rippaverse wasn't as successful, I have no problem with a more decentralized industry. It's still a necessary adjustment.
Yeah, really good video from Eric July. He's absolutely right. The industry is not going to be the same. Obviously, like Manga is taking over. There are some independents that are getting out there. Like obviously with the Reverse and other independents too. The industry is going to change, man. Like Corey Kenshin, he made his own manga. I think he sold like over 200K books. So again, industry is changing, man. Industry is changing, man, because as long as these weirdos, activists still work for these mainstream industries, it is a perfect opportunity for independents to get out there, man. Like I said numerous times, I'm working on this graphic novel. The writing's done. I'm just drawing everything out now. But yeah, man, I'm really enthusiastic for independence, man. I feel like independents are the key to the future for entertainment. But yeah, I think I'm gonna end it there. I played everything I wanted to play. I want to play this video from Monte Sensei. I'll probably play that on Sunday. I might stream on Sunday. But appreciate you guys for joining. Really appreciate it. I'll be doing a drawing stream tomorrow. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel. Really appreciate it. And I will see you guys next time. There's the Wave Blur, and I'm signing out.